I've really worked most of my life until I was about 80. And it was then that I suddenly, it'd be in my 70s, and I suddenly thought, now, Betty, you're at a stage where you've got to start where your mother and father told you a story of which I've adhered to all my life from there on. It started when I was 16, actually, when I turned to my mother and father and I had my first job, paid job, at 7 and 6pence a week. And that was a fortune to me. And I went home that evening on the first pay day and said to my mother and dad, don't worry about me, I'm now independent. And I can remember the slight smirk that they both got on their faces, just vaguely. And my dad said to me, are you sure? So then they pointed out to me, how was I going to buy my yearly train ticket? How was I going to clothe myself? How was I going to go to the pictures or have any fun? And it was obvious to me that I was not going to have much fun at all. But I stuck to my guns, being the obstinate person I am. And I said, no, I'm all right. But thank God for Christmas and birthdays when I was clothed. So that was a stage in my life that really told me. And it was at that time that my mother said to me, darling, one of the things I want you to always remember, always walk down the street as though you're a millionaire, even though you're not. Because I said, people will take notice of you. Walk down like a nobody and you'll be a nobody. I came into more or less wondering what I really wanted to do, and I really wanted to make money to give away. And I thought, how on earth am I going to do that? Because I mean, I'm only a pleb and had no background or silver spoons or anything like that. So I decided to do it. And my first venture was into building the first nursing home of its type in Camberwell in 1964. Now that was very forward thinking because the homes were old homes that were converted for elderly people to go in. And I didn't like it. I thought there's no dignity for these people. And I really got upset about it. So I decided this was it. I was going to raise the money and build a nursing home. Well, I had £100, so I suppose it wasn't a bad bet. And I went off to a bank, the Westpac Bank, and I still bank with them. And I very coldly said to the manager, I would like to get £10,000, please, if I may. And he said, yes, certainly, sit down. And so, what's our collateral? And I said, me. And he said, you're sitting on the opposite side of this desk asking me for £10,000. Now, bear in mind, this is 64. And women weren't really recognised very much in those days. And I can see Mr. Lloyd sitting opposite me now with his jaw dropped. And he said, you're kidding. You want me to give you £10,000 so you can build a hospital? And what collateral I've got? You? I said, I won't let you down. And he didn't. And that was the start that made me on my road of what I'm doing today. I was determined. And I suppose that would driven me to at least leave something behind in this world that has helped many others. Oh, in the early days it was a bit hard. They thought, I don't think she knows what she's doing. But it makes a difference if you've made a donation. I better cut that out. I went in, I was a director of the organisation, and I was there to enable the organisation to watch the governance and to actually be interested in what we were doing and learn what we did and why we did it. And I've always been treated with respect. Perhaps it's the person or my approach, I don't know. And if I have something to say, I really will say it. And If I haven't, I shut up. I think today it's most important that girls feel their independence, feel it here. Doesn't mean you're so independent that you have to be aloof or you have to be not friends with everyone. That's not the way of independence. Independence is being you and being yourself, and always have your own self-esteem. You're a human being, and you may be the human being that can make and change a company or a world. When I was your age, I used to think I'm a no one, and I had a very low self-esteem. And it was pointed out to me when I was in my 30s to 40s that you're nuts, you don't realise what you're doing, so live what you believe. I think that get away with from the feeling that you always have to talk or you always have to prove. You don't. Now that's an interesting question. Who's ever challenged me? I'm such a brute of a person. I don't think I've been ever openly challenged. And I like a challenge because it makes me think. People are lonely, you know. There's a lot of loneliness in the world, and you can forget all the tertiary education you like. Love is the most simplest thing in life. It's just to look at somebody and say, you're not feeling very well today, can I help you? If you can come back to some of the basics of looking after one another and being involved with one another, there's great joy in that. What am I most proud of? Yes, I was proud to be granted first the OAM and then the AO. I thought, goodness gracious me, what have I done to deserve that? And then to be more or less recognised honorary fellow of Monash, and I nearly died on that occasion, and I said to all my friends, at last I can wear the cap. At last. No study, and I got there. But I think one of the greatest honours I've had, and it will not be actually official until May, but Monash have asked me to become a Doctor of Law honorary position, Monash. And I had to ring them up and say, I think you've addressed it to the wrong person. No, it wasn't, it was the right. And I think that would be one of the highest honours I could possibly have put on me. And I am very, very humbled by that. Always think big, always think big. I mean, you mightn't get to the dream from a financial point of view, how big you'd like to be. I mean, I'm still dreaming of how much I've got and how much can I make. I mean, I have to be materialistic in that regard because I depend entirely on myself, because I've made everything myself. Because you are a woman doesn't mean to say that you cannot be as strong as any male leader. But always remember that you are, what's the word I'm thinking? You are leading by your very being. You're just as good as anyone else you will meet. You're just as good as Bill Gates. I wouldn't say Mr. Trump. Don't take that as an example. But I think the main thing is to know in here, it's essential that you know what you're talking about, what you believe in, and what you want to achieve. Then you will find people will be interested as to know what it is you want to achieve. So always go out looking like a millionaire. All right? And act like one.